Those who watch my streams know that I've been learning Python. Well, I've decided that it's time that I take what I've learned and start applying it to MicroPython in order to program devices such as the Raspberry Pi Pico and the ESP32s. And today I decided, let's try calculating pi, and what better way to calculate pi than on a Raspberry Pi? After all, Pi Day was just a couple weeks ago. Before we get into programming, let's take a quick look into what it means to calculate pi. Now, for centuries, the accepted ratio for pi is 22/7. And this is based on a formula generated by Pythagoras, which we'll look at later. But another ratio that was eventually used, which ended up being a lot more accurate, is 355/113. So let's just take a quick look at what those values are. So Python has a built-in constant for pi, which is this number here. And this is a number that we're going to want to try to get as close as possible using our calculations. So when we look at our 22/7, we see the value is somewhat close, but still we only really get 2 digits, so 3.14, and then we start deviating away. However, when we look at the 355/113, we discover this is a lot closer. So 3.141592, and then it starts deviating. So we actually get 6 accurate digits for pi. But what sort of formulas are available to actually calculate this? Now, the first formula that we're going to look at is called the Leibniz formula. And that is pi equals 4 times 1 minus 1/3 plus 1/5 minus 1/7, and so on till you get 1 over 2n minus 1. Let's have a look at what this formula looks like. A slight change to the formula. So I did a base of -1 doing to the exponent of the iteration in order to accurately change from plus to minus. But when we run this, you can see it going back and forth. Kind of one iteration is low, and then one iteration goes high. And then each time it gets closer and closer to the value that we understand as pi. Again, there's a reason for this. But before we look at this, you'll notice we're running this on the local computer. If we connect to the Raspberry Pi and then run the same program, you'll notice we don't have as many digits. Like, we don't have the full 10 digits that we asked for in our formatted output. In fact, if I change this to just a 10-digit float, the G cuts off any trailing zeros. You'll see we are actually missing the last 3 digits of a 10-digit pi. And that's because the Pi Pico is only a 32-bit device compared to the computer itself, which is a 64-bit device. And that's why we get higher precision. So the next formula, which is Pythagoras' actual formula, is kind of the embodiment of the approximation. So if we have the circle, in order to calculate pi, we know that the circumference equals 2 times the radius times pi. So we know that pi equals the circumference divided by 2r. So Pythagoras formula this is going to be a little rough because my drawing isn't extremely neat. The idea is draw a polygon inside the circle, draw a polygon outside the circle, and then use the circumference of these two polygons and then the difference between these two polygons in order to approximate what the circumference of the circle is between those two polygons, and then use that circumference to calculate pi. And then the more edges that you put on that polygon that's surrounding the circle, the closer you're going to be to the actual circle in order to approximate that circumference. So like you're no longer calculating like these corners, you're no longer, the amount of error between the two polygons becomes less and less with the more angles that you put in. So rather than me try to write it on the book here, let's take a look at what that formula looks like. So you can see here, we're doing 20 iterations. And then for each iteration, we calculate the number of sides. So we start with 4 sides, and then we double the number of sides for each iteration. The angle that we're using is 360 divided by the number of sides for this polygon. The sin and tan functions from the math library in Python wants to use radians rather than degrees. So we have to convert our angles from degrees to radians for each of our calculations. So we calculate our pi using sine for the inside, like sine the angle times the number of sides, and then the outside uses tan. Like again, tan the angle. Tan of the angle divided by 2 times the sides, which gives you the approximation of pi. And then you take your average of your inside and outside, and that is your calculated pi. And then for comparison, I just did an accuracy comparing our calculated pi with the pi constant in the Python library. So when we run this, again, you'll notice it goes a lot quicker. By the 6th iteration, we're already at 99.99% accurate. Well, you can see we're running this on the Raspberry Pi because we have the lower precision. And then the Raspberry Pi hits its maximum precision by iteration 13. Again, if we do this on the computer, though, you'll see it definitely has further calculation. Then it finally hits 100% at the 20th iteration. And so this is how you calculate pi. So now that we've done this, let's have a look at just how we would display this calculation, like watching the Raspberry Pi do this calculation and output it to a display, in this case, an ILI9341. All right, here's a little program that kind of wrote a little help with from AI to help generate stuff like this. But everything else was basically taken from adjusting examples. The ILI9341 and the XGLCD font libraries are from a GitHub repository, which are going to be linked down in the description. Likewise, all of these scripts are going to be available from my GitHub, again, linked down in the description. So you'll notice that at the top here, we have our two formulas for calculating pi. So this is the first one, the Leibniz, that does the 1 minus 1/3 plus 1/5 minus 1/7, and so on. And then we have the Archimedes formula, which calculates the inside and outside angles and then takes the average. And then it just displays each of the iteration on the screen. So we're going to run this once using the Leibniz pi function. So we'll just run. Oh, that's not going to work because we don't have the Raspberry Pi selected. Let's try that again. Here you can see it slowly calculating through the various iterations. And as we saw when we ran the other program, the PyCalc1, you can see it jumping on basically other side of the known value of pi, gradually narrowing in. And here we are already about 45 iterations in, and we're still really far. We've only really have one decimal place calculated so far. And you can tell it's going to take quite a while before it hits 500. We're just going to stop that, comment out that, and then we'll run the Archimedes Pi function. Save. And we'll run that again. Here you can see it narrowing down definitely a lot quicker. And here we are on iteration 16, and those numbers aren't changing anymore. And iteration 20, we're done. So essentially the same output that we're looking at through the console, but we're using Python to output to the attached screen. If we wanted to take a look at how Python is calling these functions for each iteration and getting the values, you'll see it's just a single for loop, but after each loop of this for, it uses yield to pause the loop, sends the values of n and pi, so our iteration and our calculated value, to the calling function. In this case, this. So n and pi get returned back as a list and then saved as n for iteration, and then pi val from pi. We kind of do what we want with the values. We pause, then that's the end of the for loop, so it goes back and then returns control back to the Archimedes Pi function, where it continues that loop. So that's how that works. And then you can see it does it for both of our algorithms, our pi calculation algorithms. So there you go, calculating pi using the Raspberry Pi. Again, the links, like the reference links, are going to be down in the description. My GitHub's can be down in the description. Also, if you like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button, or if you really like this, please consider joining my Patreon, where I do release my videos early to subscribers. as well as kind of ask input for upcoming videos and projects. Also, I do stream regularly, so keep an eye out for that, and feel free to join us when I go live. But thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Thanks everyone for watching the April Fool's special today. I want you to go down in the description and check out Basement Electronics YouTube channel, where the video that I provided for this is going to reside. And thanks everyone for being such a good sport. Make sure to subscribe to both our channels. Thanks for watching.